Good morning. Welcome everybody here, 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And, I just want to acknowledge everybody who watches this later in the day. Not everybody's a morning person. But I'm grateful for also the people that are here at 7 a.m. bright and early. Karen Faust, I see you. Welcome. Debbie Collins. There's about 30 of us that gather every day, every morning. Bob and Claudia, welcome. But later in the day, there's up to 200 more who watch this sometimes. So I'm really grateful for everybody who tunes in. Welcome to everyone. Jim Fuente, thank you for being here. There's my mom, welcome. Daryl and Suzanne, welcome to you. Wendy, Chadwick, Steve Hauser. Good morning, everybody. I'm sporting my Sports Friends Malawi shirt this morning. I know it's backwards on your screen because of the nature of this live stream. Good morning, Barbara Del Rio. Good to see you this morning. Janisa, Julie Carrington, welcome this morning. Carmen, welcome. So Luke and Becca Voigt are missionaries that we support who are part of this ministry, Sports Friends. They were in Malawi for a number of years, and it's a soccer ministry targeting young boys. And they also have a ministry that's also to girls as well. And it's how they, it's kind of an incarnational ministry of, where you're just physically there investing in people, and then the families of those young people see that you're there really just to love on them and to support them and to invest in them. And of course you're doing it all in the name of Jesus, and it becomes this inroad to preaching the gospel. And their ministry in Malawi, which I had the blessing of visiting them in Malawi and seeing Luke and Becca in their element, along with Lizzie and Zeke, and it was so great to be there. But they're no longer in Malawi; they're in Sacramento, and so I just want to give a shout out to them for the ministry they have now through the same ministry, Sports Friends, through soccer, but now they're doing it with Afghan refugees in Sacramento. And Luke and Becca moved right into the neighborhood of where these refugees have been placed in Sacramento, and they are trying to display the love of God in so many practical ways and through sports ministry, which is kind of difficult right now because of all the restrictions of COVID. They're not able to play soccer. But gratefully, they've been there for a couple of years, and they've established these relationships. So they're continuing to minister in the name of Jesus. And I'm noticing that people in the live stream here, Dana and Claudia, are having a conversation in German. So I'm not sure where that is coming from. So Lori Cares, welcome this morning. I know Heather Withrow, thank you for being here. There are several names that popped up on the live stream that I went by while I was jabberjawing about Luke and Becca, but so I missed you. But I acknowledge that you all here. There's about 23 people that at least my phone is telling me that are here in the live stream this morning. But be praying for Luke and Becca and their ongoing ministry with Afghan refugees in not in Malawi, but in Sacramento. So I want to keep remembering them. And Kim Johnson, welcome this morning. We are in Psalm 29 today. Psalm 29. So as you turn there, we'll read it in just a moment. I want to tell you a bit of a story on maybe the day 12 of my journey, a 14-day journey, hiking 200 miles on the John Muir Trail. I had just summited or crossed Forester Pass, which is a 13,000-foot pass. It's very steep coming up and over. It was covered with snow. 2019 was a very heavy snow year in the Sierras, and so you kind of adopted mountaineering techniques at times on these high mountain passes. And I just crossed Forester Pass. I had come down into the plateau just below on my way south on the John Muir Trail. And what I noticed in the sky on that morning, early morning, was a bunch of dark clouds forming. And you could see in the distance that there was some precipitation coming, and you could smell the rain. You can smell, you just felt the barometric pressure changing as this front moved in. And the mountains create their own weather. It could be beautiful and sunny down in the valley, but right there up against, as the pressure system pushes up against these mountains, it can create these thunderstorms that come up out of nowhere. Alyssa Tucker recounted a story of last weekend that happening up at Silver Lake, which is notorious for creating thunderstorms. That's why they call it Thunder Mountain right there. And where you can just have a beautiful day, and then a thunderstorm rolls in, dumps a bunch of rain, and then leaves just as quickly as it arrived. So Karen Faust, I think you were there, so you were eyewitnesses of this. You participated in the rainfall and the flood. That just this instant rain, it came so much, the water came up, and you guys were, as I heard Alyssa tell the story, you guys were kind of wading through standing water trying to get back to your car, and everybody was drenched and so on. It's those kinds of thunderstorms that come up. And so I'm coming down Forester Pass, I see those thunderstorms, that thunderstorm rolling in. I just knew it was coming. And not only did it bring rain, but it brought hail. And when you're exposed out, you're just hiking in rain and hail, it hurts. that frozen precipitation that's coming down, just beating on you, it stings. It really, you're trying to guard yourself a little bit, but you can't. You're out there in the exposure, and so it's an awesome sight. And if you have the right mindset, Karen Faust, you had the right mindset. It looks like you said good times. In hindsight, we could all laugh about it. In the midst of it, you're like, what is going on? But if you have the right perspective, those kinds of adventures are just an adventure. You can say, wow, this is great. You're just looking at the awesome power of God in how He's created these elemental features of what we can experience, especially in the mountains. And so Psalm 29, the reason I'm telling you this about this experience and recounting that group that was up there at Silver Lake and what they experienced with this thunderstorm, I believe that is the backdrop of Psalm 29. I think that's what David is describing when he is attributing, the voice of God and the power of God. I think he's observing a thunderstorm rolling up on the water, maybe on the Mediterranean there, that's just below Israel, and that thunderheads are forming on the coast. And as they push up into the mountain regions, as we know that Israel is mountainous, as that weather system pushes in, it just starts getting more and more powerful, more thunder, more lightning, and lightnings just start striking in the mountains and so on. With that image in mind, as David looks at this thunderstorm develop, hovers over the waters and begins to brew on the waters, and then it makes landfall, and lightning and thunder are striking and so on. Picture that in your mind as we read Psalm 29. He relates this to the power of God, the King, who is enthroned over it all. So Psalm 29, verse 1 says this. He starts in the heavens. He's looking up. He's seeing those clouds develop, perhaps, right? I'm just imagining this. And he says, "Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due His name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of holiness." So he's looking up into the heavens, and he's calling out the heavenly beings, the angels, and he says it 3 times: ascribe, ascribe, ascribe. Make sure that God is getting the glory due Him, and he's observing this natural phenomenon of this thunderstorm that's rolling in and beginning to rumble a bit and build, and he's saying, yes, that's God at work, that's the voice of God. So look at verse 3. "The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. So David is picturing the voice of God in this thunderstorm, and as it rolls and it thunders and so on. The voice of the Lord, this is verse 5. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Now the storm has made landfall. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon skip like a calf, the Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. That's a lot of F's in that sentence. Flashes forth flames of fire. So I'm imagining lightning that is, not just the rumblings of thunder now, but it's the lightning that's crashing down. And if you've ever seen a thunderstorm roll over the plains, like in the Midwest, it's like you could just get your camp chair out there on your front porch and watch it go by out there on the plains. It's actually pretty entertaining. And you see the lightning just striking, and it's an amazing thing, unless you're in the middle of it. So the voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forest bare. So it strikes fear in the forest animals, right? Making this deer give birth perhaps prematurely, because of fear. And in his temple all cry glory. And I'm imagining David, I don't know if he's referring to the temple, which would be the tabernacle in his day, the earthly temple, or the heavenly temple after which the tabernacle was made. All the dimensions of the tabernacle, the writer of Hebrews tells us, that are made according to certain dimensions that match the heavenly temple. So maybe David's even thinking of that heavenly temple where the angels are, that says, and everyone who is in his temple cry glory. Now we come to the last two verses of the psalm. This is where I want to just comment a little bit. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as king forever. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. So keep in mind, as David sees this awesome sight of this thunderstorm rolling in, it makes landfall and thunder and lightning, and he's like, yes, that is the glory of God. Look how powerful God is. Look how powerful the Lord is, as he compares the voice of God to thunder and lightning. And then here his conclusion, the last two verses, is God is king. He sits enthroned over the flood. He is king forever. His throne is established. It cannot be assailed upon, threatened in any way. He is as powerful as thunder and lightning is. God is enthroned above it all. He has power over it all. And David's describing all of this glory and power to God in this. And here's the very last verse. I just want to read it one more time. May the Lord, who is enthroned as king over all of this great, awesome, elemental elements of nature, may the Lord give strength to his people. It is in this position of power and authority that God is enthroned, an unassailable throne, that he, in his benevolence, can give strength to his people. He's not issuing all this power and authority and lightning and thunder just to intimidate people. No, he's secure in his throne. He doesn't feel threatened. He doesn't feel like he has to put his thumb down on people. He's secure. He's enthroned forever. His throne is not threatened, and he is the one who can just give strength. He wants his people to thrive. He wants his people to prosper and to feel like, yes, we've got a good king. He watches out for us. He provides for us. And that's how David views God. He is this king enthroned forever. May the king give strength to his people, first of all, and second of all, may the Lord bless his people with peace. I think of the story in the Gospels of Jesus, who was with the disciples on the boat, and the storms roll in. Can I picture all these elements of wind and the waves and the thunder and so on that they're experiencing? They're fearful for their life. And Jesus stands up in the boat And he speaks to the wind of the waves, and he says, peace, be still. And in a moment, that's exactly what happens. In a moment, the wind dies down and the waves calm. And the disciples are sitting there dumbfounded. It's like, how can this man have control over the wind and the waves? Who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him? And they are just astonished as Jesus gave them a glimpse that he is the king enthroned forever, that he is the king that's able to give strength to his people. He is the king who can bless his people with peace. And so keep in mind, as the storms of life rage, right? And they can be fearful. They're awesome. They're awe-inspiring. I don't know if you've had lightning crack and crash hit the ground anywhere near you. It's a fearful thing, and yet God sits on his throne above the flood. He is in control. He is more powerful than it all. The storms of life, when they are surrounding us and threatening us, may the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord give peace. May he grant us peace today. So keep him in mind as you face the storms of whatever that looks like today. He is more powerful, and he is there to give you strength and peace in the midst of it. Remember to pray for Luke and Becca, Sports Friends Ministry, and their ongoing work in Sacramento with Afghan refugees. And I'm praying for you today that you would find peace and strength in our Heavenly King. God bless you guys today.